Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast, and I'm so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business and help you stay social. Because after all, don't you want to be the business that everyone's talking about? I know I do, and I'm so stoked today to have Clifford Starks with me. Welcome, Clifford.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
So tell my audience a little bit about your business and what you do and who you serve.
Yeah, so I'm a business coach and consultant, and what I do is help people see the things that they normally don't have time to see because they're so busy doing all those little things, juggling everything and putting on all the hats. So I help them step back and look at the bigger picture and put a strategy around their business so that their business can work for them instead of work to them.
That's pretty cool. So how did you get into this whole coaching stuff that you do?
Yeah. So I actually started, I was a personal trainer when I started my journey. Then I got into fighting. And when I got into fighting, I retired after I had my first son, got into entrepreneurship, dipped my hands in a couple different projects and quickly realized I went from one arena to another arena. I just didn't know you could get punched in the face in the entrepreneurial arena as well. And I learned real quickly, I'll say.
Yeah. So let's talk. I mean, very, very interesting in this whole fighting thing. How would you compare fighting to being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, the biggest test is in between the ears, right? Like our mind is our best friend and also our worst enemy. If we know how to effectively utilize it and know how to effectively prioritize, we end up getting the things that we want. If we don't prioritize, we don't get to where we're looking to go. And in fighting, it's such a intense journey because you're walking into an arena knowing that someone's looking to do to you what you're looking to do to them, and it's intense. Business, they don't really paint that picture and let you know, like, you have to have the right skill sets to win in business, because if you don't have the right skill sets, you're going to end up faltering quickly or slowly, one or the other.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, how you work with people, how you help them, meaning, it's like, is it a mindset thing? Because the interesting thing about mindset, I used to think that mindset didn't even matter. But now, as being a business owner for a very, very long time now, I really feel that mindset is everything, like literally everything. If you don't have the right mindset. So how do you go about, like, when you're working with somebody, helping somebody build their own mindset and feel confident about who they are?
Yeah, so I start with asking them questions. There's a saying, questions hook the mind. And so I'm going to ask questions to see where they're at, where they want to be, and what could help them get to where they want to be. It's interesting. We have a belief system, and we have a belief system through our lens. And sometimes when we're so deep into it, it's hard to see the forest from the trees. The same thing happens to me, and that's why I get coaching as well, to really step back, look at things we didn't see and say, hey, have you thought of leveraging this, or have you thought of leveraging that? And I don't get to that until I even ask the questions to know what they're seeing and why they're seeing what they're seeing and what they think the problem is in the first place.
Pretty much coaching is all about asking questions and asking the right questions. What would you say if somebody was thinking about maybe hiring a coach? What would you say would be probably maybe a question that, like, we should all be asking ourselves maybe every day?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say why do you want to hire the coach? What's the intentionality you're looking at getting from hiring this coach?
Yeah. I heard you say something really important just a minute ago. You said something about I get coached, you get
Mm-hmm.
coached. And I
Mm-hmm.
love, because we both know that we're both on a journey and that we never stop learning. And sometimes having someone alongside of you that can see things that you can't see or help you see things that you can't see is really important. Why do you think everybody should have a coach?
Well, the best part I would say about it is it's usually not something on the outside, it's usually something on the inside. So for instance, we have our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings, our actions, and our results. And so our actions are the bridge to our thoughts and the results that we want to get. And ultimately, there's something called 2xing. And instead of 2xing, I want people to 10x. And in order to 10x, you have to do something that you haven't done before. And that's where I had a person who I would like to coin myself as very aware. But when I connected with someone who had 20 years extra experience and had the same level of awareness, it was like, holy crap, like he's going to save me 20 years of time from his trial and error. So I want to listen to that and see, okay, what steps, what actions do I take? What landmines do I avoid?
Absolutely. I read something when I was reading up on you a little bit that you want to support 1 billion people. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, as you dream, at least for me, through my perspective, you have a dream and then you get it and you reach it. And then you're like, oh, I'm looking to dream bigger. And then you go after a bigger dream and a bigger dream. And eventually, yeah, I got to 1 billion people because I've done a lot of cool things on the journey. Uh, and what's interesting, whenever you go after a dream, it's so funny because you learn lessons that you didn't know you were going to learn as you're going after it. And my big lesson was I got to really, really be intentional with the people I surround myself with, coaches, teammates, and those that I serve as well. And so it's helped me be more and more intentional. And as I was looking to serve 1 billion people, I didn't know this was going to happen, but it's not only me serving 1 billion people, it's 1 billion people serving me because they help me become better, more refined, more polished. They help me be the best leader that I can be. And so I believe it was Gandhi that said, um, don't try to change, be the change. And so being the change is you you be the person that people need you to be for them to stand up for not only themselves but for others. And so now that's what I'm focusing on doing is as I connect with these people, they're making me better and better, and I want to make them better and better. We get better and better together.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. So, this is the part of the show we're going to get a little bit real here. What
Mhm.
do you love the most about being in business for yourself?
I love the challenge. Um, when I stepped inside the UFC cage, I got an opportunity to see who I was going to be. When that cage door shuts, you get to find out about yourself. Well, business is much the same. You get an opportunity to see who you are and what you are, and if you deserve it in a weird sort of a way. I think everyone's deserving at all times, but are you taking the necessary actions to deserve what you see, what you want to create? And so for me, it's like it's a challenge that I get to go after and say, I can figure this game out and help others figure it out as well.
Yeah, I love that. It's funny when we do step in the arena, it's like we realize that there's so much to learn and that you never arrive. You never arrive. And it's like, I found out, I remember once seeing some kind of, it was a marketing scam thing where, you can do this for only $5.99 and become, make six figures. And I'm like, I used to like talk to myself, I call bull on that. I call bull on that. Because what I realized is, it really does take hard work. And you said something really important that I want everybody to like write this down. What is your intention? Your intention. And I heard that earlier when we were talking a little bit, and you said setting an intention. And I realized that I get so much more done when I set an intention for the day than when I don't. And it's just, it's amazing, actually. So my next question to you is a little bit harder because, a lot of people look at business owners as, oh, so glamorous, so cool. Your friends think, okay, that's good. That's good for you. That's awesome. But we both know that there's challenges that come with owning a business. And today's world, what would you say is probably your biggest challenge in running your business?
My biggest challenge, that's a good question. Our minds like things now, right? Like that's like, they're just like, just clap your hands and you're good. You're ready to go. I know everything takes a process, but I'm also learning the right process to get the result that I want. And I do know the first time you reach the result is the hardest time of anything, right? Like the first time's the toughest. The first time you grab a spoon as a baby, the first time you walk, run, jog, work out, the first time you do anything. So my biggest challenge, I'm looking to get to that 1 million mark. And it's a struggle. It's a challenge. It's a big challenge for a lot of entrepreneurs actually going through their process. And I'm realizing like, holy crap, it's like, it's all of these gunked up belief systems that we have that make our lives a lot harder. And then there's also are you focusing on the 80% that's giving you the 20%? Or are you focusing on the 20% that gives you the 80%? Are you prioritizing effectively? And sometimes I am, and then sometimes I'm not. And so I do my best to surround myself with those who are consistently doing the right things so that I can consistently do the right things, because practice is nothing more than a habit.
If there was one piece of advice that you can give, it would be universal. So it would be directed towards maybe someone who just started their business, someone who's seasoned in their business, and someone who's thinking of starting a business. What would that one universal piece of advice be?
I don't know if people will get this, but I'm going to try anyway. I love you.
Yeah. And with that, I love you is you also have to love yourself too. So good advice.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah. When people love their journey, truly, truly love their journey, they'll be able to say that to other people and do the things that are sometimes necessary to get to the results that they're looking to get to.
Yeah. Favorite book that really helped you move forward in your life?
Moving forward, I really liked, it's called A Whack on the Side of the Head. And it's, I want to say it's von Heinrich, something along those lines. And what I really, really liked about that book, it teaches you the importance of hard thinking and soft thinking. And basically, like if a cup is to be made, well, it has to first be pliable and movable, and then it has to fix into something. And so there's times to have soft, and there's times to have hard. And one of my quotes that I came up with is, "True strength is both firm and flexible."
I love it. I love it. I have one of my own quotes too. I always say he or she who implements first wins.
Love it.
So if somebody resonated with you today and they want to get in touch with you, how would they get in touch with you? And do you have anything to offer my audience?
Yeah. So I have, for anyone who would like to connect, you can find me on LinkedIn, and you can also find me on Facebook. I believe I send you those links. And if you type in "I'm a fighter," I'll connect with you, and I'll know that it was you, and we'll have a sit down and a chit chat.
That's awesome. Well, again, I just want to really thank you for being a great guest on my show. And until next week, everyone, I will see you soon. This is the Biz Gone Social Podcast signing off.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social Podcast. Find us on Instagram at Biz Gone Social for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.